All right, guys, welcome back to Survival Living here. So what I have here, this is one of those diesel heaters. I'm seeing more and more of these things online, especially since the whole truck camping, well, glamping, things like that has been going on bigger and bigger on Instagram and things of that nature here on social media. This particular one is the Hcalory. All right, we teamed up with these guys, took a look at their products, get some testing done, and it's impressive. I've seen other videos where units like this are being used out in the field. Personally, it's too heavy to be lugging around in a backpack, okay? Because one, you have to have a power supply, and two, you got to have fuel, and plus the system itself. But if you're truck camping or driving to a campsite, yeah, the heater system actually works very well. Now, of course, the actual manual here is pretty big, and I did have to do some assembly. They actually classify this as a diesel air car parking heater. This thing comes with other attachments that you can actually just hook up on your vehicle onto the battery system and run it that way. My concern is with that is because the amount of power that is used to run this system to keep the ignition going, you're going to need an alternative power source. Now, as a prepper, solar generators work great. You also have a block here that plugs in to a wall. You can run it that way too with an extension cord. So unlike most things you see on social media of how everything works perfectly, you do have to plan things out. So as you can see, the system right here, there was some assembly required. First, this is the exhaust. All right, I have it pulled up so you can see and actually lay straight out. It also has a air intake pipe, your air outlet pipe. This is a flexible tube for your hot air to go out. You also have an adapter. This is I think it's like a 4.5 foot cable for a control panel, and also remote for the system itself. So as far as assembly goes, I had to dig this wire out, assemble the extension cord for the control panel if you wanted to have the control panel in a tent or a vehicle, the snorkel for the output of heat, the exhaust, and the air intake. Let me go and roll this over here, and I'm going to bring you guys in a little closer. Okay, so we got the exhaust pipe going down. It goes with this little metal 90-degree tube. You got a fitting there that slides into it. You also have the fitting here for the air intake. This right here. Now, one of the things I want to point out, guys, there are little leg feet that actually do raise the system up off the ground. But this pipe, this exhaust pipe, gets extremely hot. So you don't want to put this thing on any type of plastic, any type of wood. If you use it out in the field, you want to clear away all debris just so that dirt is underneath it, because even though it's off the ground, this pipe gets extremely hot from the exhaust. All right, so as you guys can hear, it's a low fan. You also have a higher switch to turn up the fan, speed and everything else. They're actually relatively quiet. I'm using the controls right here. Like I said, I got the extension on it so you could actually run this inside a vehicle, whatever, because this thing does have an exhaust system that does produce carbon dioxide. All right, the burnt diesel fuel. All right, so you can't have this in an enclosed area, but you can run this snorkel into an enclosed area, have this outside. But the noise is actually relatively quiet. I mean, I could barely hear it humming right now when you first turn it on. Yeah, it does make noise, but I mean, you barely even hear anything on this. So yes, the system works just fine. Like I said, it does have a little remote key. I hooked it up here so I wouldn't lose it because it is tiny. Let me get that off here. And it's like a key fob. Got it on high. Let me go and turn it down. Key fob works just fine. Probably can't see it on the screen there because I got to hit video way over there. But yeah, not too bad at all. I do like the system. Let me turn this off. So like I said, I do like the system itself. This particular model holds 5 liters of diesel. I believe it's roughly 8 to 10 hours. Just depends on how you know, high up you got this thing turned on. Nice little fold down handles. They seem pretty secure, so no issues there. Like I said, this thing here I've seen on social media, people have been carrying this thing into the woods and everything else with them, but you have to have a power supply. Yeah, if you have your vehicle in the woods, you know, off-grid campsite or something like that you can drive to, yeah, it works pretty good, especially if you're going to sleep inside your vehicle. You know, you don't want to leave it running your vehicle all night. You can actually just hook this up onto the DC adapter that is right here. Your DC adapter, positive, negative, with a plug for the back of the unit. Just hook up to your battery. My concern is with killing your battery in your vehicle. So I personally say use the AC plug-in, carry a small solar generator with you. That should actually do pretty well. All right. Again, more feasible for camping if you're taking a vehicle to a campsite than lugging everything around, because you got to carry fuel, you got to carry the unit, and you have to carry a power supply. So if you're backing up to an area, just camping out your truck or have a tent nearby, yeah, it'll work out very well. These things here will also work inside of a home. Again, this thing has exhaust, so if you're using it inside of a building like a shop or something like that, you're going to have to pipe the exhaust out. Okay, you cannot leave the exhaust pipe in because it will produce carbon monoxide, and if you're lucky, you'll be in the hospital. And that's with all these type of heaters, guys. So like I said, there is some assembly and there is some extra parts. All right, extra screws, extra brackets. Mainly the brackets are for if you're mounting your exhaust out of a room or something like that. You want that exhaust not bouncing around like this right here. You want it fixated on something. Again, guys, that exhaust pipe goes really, really hot, so you got to be careful with that as far as where it's going to be laying, what you got it laying against. Like I said, it gets over 200 degrees easy, so you want to make sure you don't catch anything on fire, because it is a heater. All right. So anyway, guys, if you are interested in this, the links are in the description. Like I said, I want to do a video on this. I do like the idea of truck camps and stuff. Absolutely. I'm getting a little older and slower, because I usually do bushcraft where I'm carrying all my gear in, doing all my filming and all that good stuff. But I couldn't carry this out in the woods with me, not doing the stuff I do. I hike for miles and miles through terrain. So yeah, truck camps, absolutely. Emergency heat source inside of a home as a prepper, absolutely. Duck this in through a window, seal up the window, yeah, keep this outside. Or if you have a room that you can actually pipe that exhaust pipe out, as long as it's going out, you're gonna have to make sure you have the right fittings and stuff for a window or wherever the exhaust is going, so you don't catch fire to a wall. All right, just like a wood stove. Think of it as a wood stove as far as your exhaust. All right, guys, I appreciate you hanging out with me. Again, links are in the description. Check it out.